Have you ever wondered why Britain feels a bit broke? Well, a politician just explained it all using biscuits, and honestly, it's the best explanation I've ever seen. Gordon McKee, a Labour MP, just went viral for breaking down the UK's massive national debt with a tower of custard creams and chocolate bourbons, and his video has already hit millions of views. It's funny, it's original, and it actually makes sense of a really complicated topic. So I thought we'd dive into what he said, how he did it, and why this biscuit-based economics lesson is taking over the internet. So let's get into the biscuit tin. McKee starts by introducing something called the debt-to-GDP ratio. It sounds boring, he admits, but it's super important. He holds up a chocolate bourbon to represent the UK's debt and a custard cream for how rich the country is, its GDP. It's all about the relationship between what we owe and what we earn as a country. He then takes us back to 1994, the year he was born. Back then, the debt-to-GDP ratio was about 30%. It's like having a small, manageable overdraft. This stayed pretty stable for a while. Then came 2008, the financial crisis. Remember when the banks almost collapsed? The government had to step in and bail them out, which meant borrowing a huge amount of money. Suddenly, the 3 OP of debt for every pound of income jumped to 6 OP. Our little overdraft just got a lot bigger. McKee stacks up his biscuits to show this jump. The tower of chocolate bourbons is suddenly twice as high next to the custard creams. Then he moves on to the next decade. From 2010 onwards, under a conservative government, the debt kept climbing. It rose from 60% to about 80%. So, for every pound the UK earned, we now owed 8 OP. And then 2020 happened. A global pandemic meant the government had to borrow even more money to support people and businesses. This pushed the UK's debt-to-GDP ratio to where it is today, around 100%. That means for every single pound our country makes, the government owes a pound in debt. The Bourbon Tower is now the same height as the Custard Cream Tower. We're officially living on the financial edge. But here's where it gets really interesting. McKee points out that having a 100% debt-to-GDP ratio isn't even the weirdest part. He looks at other countries. France's ratio is 113%, America's is 120%, and Japan, theirs is a staggering 240%. Their biscuit towers of debt are way taller than their income towers. So, if their debt is so much higher, why does it feel like Britain is in more trouble? Why are we the ones feeling the pinch so badly? This is the core of his argument. The real problem isn't just the total amount of debt. It's how quickly we've accumulated it and what we're paying for it. The people and institutions that lend money to governments, the bond markets, aren't just looking at the final number. They're looking at our spending habits. He uses a brilliant analogy here. He says Japan is like your friend who's always in their overdraft. Everyone knows it, it's just their normal state. America is the friend who spends a lot of money, but they have a great job and always show up to work. They can handle their expenses. But Britain, we were supposed to be the sensible one, the one with a good credit score. But lately it's like we've gone on a wild spending spree. We've bought a new car, a puppy, and a spontaneous hair transplant all in the same month. We've been acting like we got a huge pay rise, when in reality we've just maxed out a new credit card. Our spending has been erratic and sudden, and that spooks the lenders. They see this rapid increase in borrowing and think, whoa, is Britain okay? Are they going to be able to pay this back? They see us as a higher risk. And what happens when you're seen as a higher risk? Your interest rates go up. The cost of borrowing money skyrockets. So even though countries like Japan have way more debt, their long-term stable borrowing history means lenders charge them very low interest. For Britain, our recent frantic borrowing spree means we're getting hit with much higher interest payments. This leads to a crazy situation. McKee reveals that 8% of all the money the UK government spends is now just on servicing its debt. That's just paying the interest, not even paying back the actual loan. To put that in perspective, that's more than double the entire UK defense budget. Think about that. We are spending more money on interest payments than on our entire military. As he puts it, when you're spending more servicing your debt than you are defending your country, that is not a good sign. The video has been praised not just for its clarity, but for its tone. It's not preachy or condescending. Interestingly, McKee was reportedly the first MP to hire a dedicated content creator. When that news first came out, some people were skeptical. Well, it seems this is the answer. Smart, engaging content that cuts through the noise and connects with people. He ends his video on a bit of a cliffhanger, inviting viewers to follow him to see part 2, where he'll explain how he thinks the government can get out of this mess. It's a clever way to build an audience and keep the conversation going. What I love about this is how it democratizes information. Economics can feel inaccessible, filled with jargon designed to keep normal people out. But explaining it with biscuits, anyone can get that. It shows that you don't need a fancy studio or a huge budget to make an impact. All you need is a good idea, a clear message, and maybe a packet of custard creams. It's proof that in the age of social media, creativity and authenticity can be far more powerful than a traditional press release. It really makes you think about how we consume political information. Are we tired of the usual soundbites and angry debates? Do we just want someone to sit down and explain things to us like we normal human beings? It's a game changer for political comms and a lesson for anyone trying to explain complex ideas. So, what do you think? Did the biscuit analogy help you understand the UK's debt? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, everyone.